Good morning guys, and welcome to another video. We are in the Mazda today. As you can probably tell, it's quite noisy. I've just been to Halfords to pick up some crush washers because today I'm going to be doing a rear diff fluid change. It's only got one diff, it's not a four-wheel drive. Now I'm doing this work because I'm prepping the car for my first track day in 4 weeks time, and I'm really not sure how it's going to perform, so I'm just taking extra precautions. I'm planning on doing the diff fluid, I want to do the brake fluid, that's the biggest thing, as well as the brake discs and the brake pads, because I think the weakest part of the car is going to be the brakes. It's quite a warm and sunny day today, so it should be a good day to do it. I've got the roof up because I wasn't sure what the wind noise would be like, otherwise I would totally have the roof down because I've got no aircon. And this car does actually get surprisingly warm when you're sat in traffic. Hope you guys appreciate the pain that I put myself through to bring you entertainment. Differential fluid, stinky stuff, so unfortunately there's no smell-o-vision, but apparently it smells really bad. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so there are a few things that you're going to need to do this job. I've got my toolbox, which is full of my ratchets and my sockets, and then we've got a trolley jack and the axle stands. Obviously, safety first, never jack up a car with the trolley jack, and then don't put axle stands under it because they can leak and they can just fall on top of you. I've got my torque wrench here, got some bricks to chock the car with underneath, high-tech bricks. I've also gone for the Redline fully synthetic gear oil, which is going to be the replacement diff fluid that we're putting in. This is 75W90. This one says high performance lubricants for limited slip differentials. It's meant to be really good on the Mazda forums, everyone recommends it. So that's the one that I'm going to use. And then we've got the drain pan and some copper grease. First things first, we're going to chock the front wheels. So because I'm jacking up the rear of the car, obviously you're going to chock the front, so I'm going to put one in front and one behind to stop it rolling in both directions. This is quite difficult to do whilst holding a camera. Which way is going to be best? That way, I reckon. So we've got chocks under both sides of the front wheels. I've also got an old curtain which I'm going to lie on for a bit of comfort. I'm not planning on spilling any fluid, but that will actually also absorb it if I do. Now I'm actually going to use the two bolts in front of the jacking point forward of the diff. I will show those to you when I can see under there better. You probably can't see a lot at the moment. The rear diff is right in the middle of your screen now, just behind the exhaust, and I'm going to jack up just before that. Oh, it's really hard to do with a camera. I'm going to have to put the camera down. So I can feel some resistance on the jack now, which is good. It means we're making progress. I have just driven the car, and the exhaust is still quite hot. Probably best to let it cool down. I'd love a lift right now. 2-post lift, or a 4-post lift, I'm not fussy. Not when it's this hot. Progress is being made. You don't need to jack it up that high to get to the diff. As you can see, I'm not very fit because I'm out of breath, so now I'm going to put the axle stands under. So the sill on the MX-5, there's a single strip of metal here, and then the further you get back it actually goes into a double piece of metal, and just here is the jacking point where that double piece is. Up there I think will do. That's the left one done. This is the rear diff here, and we've got the, if I can get the camera, the drain plug here, and then the fill plug's just above it, up there. Not too difficult to get to. You can see that this cross member here has actually got a hole in it, so if I'm struggling to get it off, what I might have to do is to get the socket through there. So first, a really good tip, you should do this on all drain and refill jobs, is to make sure that you can undo the fill plug at the top before you undo the drain plug. If you can't get that top fill plug undone and you drain all the oil out of it, then game over, because you can't drive the car anywhere then. Well, you probably could, but you'd wreck it. Out you come. There we go. Okay, so the top plug where my socket is 23mm and the bottom plug is 24mm. So I'm just trying to get that onto there and then apply a bit of elbow grease to that. Hopefully it's not stuck. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Oh. I'm sure you love watching my ass wiggle around. I got it! I trapped my finger whilst I did it, that really hurt. Ow! Okay, so the fill plug is loose now, which is all good. That means I can now start loosening the drain plug. Pro tip is probably don't take the fill plug all the way out because it's going to start dripping oil onto your drain plug and also onto your socket and your ratchet. So leave that one in, just loosen it, don't do what I did. And now the drain plug is a 24mm, which is here somewhere. So I'm going to loosen the drain plug now. Okay, so that one was a bit stiffer, but it did go eventually, which is all good. Apparently the diff holds about 1 litre of fluid. Hey, got some on my hand. And there's the plug with the washer on it. Suddenly really need to go to the toilet. Whoops. So pro tip, I read that if you put the diff fluid in hot water for 10 minutes, it makes it less viscous and therefore easier to put back into the car. Now I really need to pee. So if we look at the plugs that I just took out, we've got the fill plug here and the drain plug here. The drain plug is actually magnetic, so you can see all the tiny little shards of metal which have sort of formed into a paste on the top of the drain plug. If you see that. So that's what it looks like after I've just given it a quick wipe down. There was a lot of metal paste filings on there. Okay, so it's going really well until I just realised that my new washer is a tiny bit smaller than my old washer. And that is the biggest size that's in my kit. So this will not fit on here. Okay, so reset, it's the next day. I've actually got the right size washers now, so let's have another go. So here's my new washers, and it fits right over my drain plug. Woohoo! Always a good idea to put some copper grease on these threads as well, in case I ever need to take them off again. Shouldn't be so stiff coming off the next time. Now I'm going to put the drain plug back in before I start filling it up. So torque wrench, according to this forum that I'm reading for the drain plug, is between 29 and 39 foot-pounds, and in English that is between 39 and 52 newton meters. So I'm going to torque mine up to about 45 newton meters. There we go. Okay, so I had to think about this, and in order for all the fluid to drain out, either when you drain it or when you fill it, the car needs to be level, right? My car at the moment is only jacked up at the back, so it's not level. So I need to raise the front. So that bad boy is raised up on the front now. And what I'm going to do to check that the height's the same as where I got it for the rear is use the jack stand and get it to about the same height. So still got a bit of work there to go. Okay, so the front is now on the axle stand, so I'm going to lower the front down and then jack up the rear again. There we go, and that's the car on all four axle stands. Not sure I like the 4x4 Mazda look. Looks weird. And now I'm going to put the new fluid in. Easy open seal. I'll tell you if it's easy open in a minute. So far we're off to a bad start. Okay, it was fairly easy open. Okay, so what I've resorted to doing is making a seal around the top of the bottle to make it airtight, and then I'm going to try and squeeze it, and then hopefully the fluid is going to come out of this end. But it's a bit of an experiment. Okay, so that method actually works really well, there's fluid coming out. The only problem is it's not coming out the right place because this hose has a little hole in it just there. So it's now leaking out the hole, so I'm going to try and tape the hole up. What a voyage of discovery. Okay, that was working for a split second before I found another hole, so I'm going to tape up this hole. And I'm going to do that one as well because I think there's a third hole there. Might as well have just made a tube out of tape. Okay, so this new pump is 10 times better than my previous method. Although I did get quite a bit in. This is 1 litre bottle, and you can see I've probably put about 250 ml in. Yes. And there we go, pumping it back in again until it starts coming out. And that's how you know it's full. So there we go, you can see it just starting to drip out now. It's a pretty steady stream, so I know that that is now full of brand new diff oil. I'm going to pump the rest back into the bottle. So now again, a bit of copper grease on the fill plug with the new washer on it. So I've set the torque wrench to 34. There we go, 34 newton meters. Smells good. Okay, so that's all nice and clean now, so I know if there's a leak it's come from my poor craftsmanship as opposed to anything else. Rear axle stands are coming out. Job done. And the most important thing to take with you on the test drive after you've done your work is the mobile phone, in case you break down. It's nearly 30 degrees, so there's no way that I'm going to drive around with the roof up and no aircon. So the things that I've learned from doing my diff fluid change: make sure you jack up both the front and the rear of the car. Start with the front, it's a lot easier and probably a lot safer as well. Make sure that you've got the right size washers. I'll put the size of the washers that you need in the description below, so that you don't fall into the same trap as I did, buying the biggest washers that you can find and them still not being big enough. And also make sure that you buy a fluid pump, because because that red line bottle wouldn't fit behind the rear diff, so I couldn't pump the fluid in. So the fluid pump saved my life a bit. Unless, you know, you really want to try it with a bit of a shower hose with some tape around it. Feels as good as ever. So guys, thank you very much for watching. I'm doing all this maintenance because I've got my track day in a little over 4 weeks time, and I want the car to be on its best behaviour, and I definitely don't want to be at the track losing track time because of some poor maintenance. Thanks very much and see you soon. Cheers. And no leaks, look at that, we're all good. Lucky I don't charge by the hour though, because I'd make myself skimp. Thumbnail time.